Okay, so another point during Act 1, Scene 7. Okay, this is actually during a soliloquy of Macbeth's, okay, which is where he talks to the audience directly, and we can see his innermost thoughts. A couple of just small language bits here we should pick up on. So he says, I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent. Now, a spur is the sort of sharp thing that some people would wear on the heel of their shoes when they're riding a horse, and you kick the horse in the side to sort of hurt it and make it go faster. All right. So spur to prick the sides of his intent. So that is actually a metaphor. But where the difference is here is the contrast between, he says he has vaulting ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other. So we've got two metaphors, and they are contrasting. Okay, and this just sort of touches into structure as well, because we're talking about contrast and juxtaposition as well. But in basic terms, the idea of a spur and riding is of going sideways, along, right? Whereas the contrast would be that vaulting means jumping over in a big way, as does overleaping, is to do with height and rising, so we can link that to rising in society, as he wants to do. But even here, this is quite important, and it'd be useful as a one-word quote or a short phrase quote here. He acknowledges that there's that possibility of a fall on the other. So he acknowledges possibility of a fall, and this would be important. This would be a very good point to make, okay, in terms of form, that it links to the idea of hubris and a fatal flaw, where the tragic hero always has a downfall. Okay, that'd be a really sharp form point to make and pick up on with this quote in your essay. All right. Okay, so another comment from Macbeth in Act 2, Scene 4. This is kind of just where Banquo is beginning to realise perhaps the prophecies are coming true here from Macbeth, and begin to be suspicious. So he exclaims, so that's an exclamation mark, right? So that would be the language device there. So an exclamation against nature. So I would hope that all of you are immediately thinking in terms of context about the natural order and how he's thinking about Macbeth disrupting it. All right. And when he says, "Ravin up thine own lives," means ambition that will raven up thine own lives means. So that means ambition will eat up, will consume like fire, eat it all up, your own life's worth, what your life is worth. So ambition will consume and eat up what his life is worth. So that's a really lovely metaphor to show how the two men are differing in their opinion of ambition. We've got it side by side here. Macbeth thinking about overleaping and rising and moving up. Banquo remembering the natural order, which in contextual terms would be very important for him, and saying that the ambition will actually gobble him up and consume him. So focusing more on the fall than the rise. Okay. Different views of ambition. Okay. Case in point, it'd be worth making some extra notes while you're listening to me, as well as just writing down what I'm writing, especially if you think it'll help you understand more. Okay, so I wouldn't only write down the notes that I'm making here.